This is the Transformers Generations War for Cybertron Siege Voyager class Soundwave. The figure is part of the second wave of the Voyager class figures for the Siege toy line, and I picked up this figure at Our Toys. Great artwork on the box. So let's unbox Soundwave and see what's inside. Okay. Be careful you don't break it. Come on. Okay. Very cool. French minty fresh smell of new toys. And wait a minute. Really? Are you Hasbro? Are you kidding me right now? What is wrong with this picture? Oh my goodness. Are you serious right now? What the? There has to be something there, right? If I'm not mistaken, it should be the... Well, this one's that one. That one is this one. And this one, this particular gun should have been here. It's a mint in sealed box toy. Unbelievable. Just my dumb luck with Hasbro. Yet again. I don't believe this. General Grievous, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Masterpiece Ultra Magnet, I mean, you name it. I have the best luck with Hasbro toys. Can you believe it? I can't review it. I'm sorry. I don't think I can review an incomplete toy for you guys. So, maybe I can go back to the store and buy another one or something, or have it replaced, or because I purchased this like weeks ago, like 2-3 weeks ago, and I don't know if they'll still replace it, but man, this sucks. So I'm gonna try and go back to the store and see if we checked the box. It doesn't have anything. Nothing fell out. So I'm gonna try and replace it. So I'll see you guys later. Okay, so I just came back from the store, and luckily the owner is a buddy of mine, and he was okay to replace that Soundwave I picked up from him, that missing gun, and replaced with a brand new one. And actually, it's quite difficult to see through the package if you're just using the store lights and all without a good flashlight or in broad daylight. It's very difficult. So the only way to really be sure that you've got everything is you purchase the item first, and then inside the store you open the package, you open the box, and then you check the contents. And you're probably wondering why it's such a big deal for me to just replace the figure or get a new one. Here in the Philippines, it's not that easy to return something or replace something. That's why we don't get a lot of, like in the US, you see a lot of figures with the wrong BAF piece, or you see a package that says Black Widow but there's a different figure, there's like a wrestling figure inside. Out here, at least in the Philippines, they're very strict with their exchange and return policies, and it's not as efficient. You want to return, you want your money back, by law they should do it, but most stores are very reluctant to do it, and they'll tell you that you'll get your money back in like 2 to 3 months because you used a credit card and we got to transfer it, blah blah blah. So chances are the customer is not going to go through the process and just exchange the item for another one. And I know it's kind of weird out here, but it is a big deal. Returning and exchanging something is a big deal. But like I said, the store's owner is a buddy of mine, and he says this is good, so I'm taking his word for it. So I didn't open it in the store. I'm gonna open it with you guys. So we're gonna find out together once again if my my Hasbro luck is still going to continue, or I'm just really cursed to get the Hasbro product, the defective Hasbro product. So fingers crossed, hopefully we got one that's complete. Ready? And oh, there it is. There's that weapon. And does it have instructions? Yes. Okay, so everything looks to be complete. Okay. So, yep. And here is Soundwave out of packaging and in full form, together with Ravage and Laserbeak, also part of the Siege line in the Micromaster series. And he looks absolutely terrific. All we need now are Rumble, Frenzy, maybe Ratbat, and Buzzsaw. But Rumble and Frenzy are priorities. I hope Hasbro and Takara Tomy have those lined up. So very, very cool. I'm so loving this figure. And Ravage, Laserbeak. And, you know, if you had those two other characters, you'll know that they do transform into these cassettes or data devices. And like Laserbeak, you can actually put it here and then be nicely stored in his chest cavity, just like in the old G1 cartoons. And the younger audience, younger kids out there are probably wondering, why do they transform into those rectangular blocks? And those are supposed to be cassettes. And if you lived in the 80s and 90s, a bit of the 90s, or most of the 80s, cassette tapes were analog devices used to store sound, and you could play them on devices called cassette players or Walkmans. And the way to put them in is you would eject them with a button like this. And it's so nice that they've actually given him a pressing button, like an index finger. I thought it was a trigger finger, but it's actually like a pressing finger to press his chest cavity open. And that's how it was in the cartoon, believe it or not. In the 1980s cartoon, Soundwave would activate his minions by saying, Laserbeak, eject. And they would all fit for some reason, like all 4 or 6 of them would all fit inside his cavity. But the toy would only allow you to fit one at a time, which is just like this one. Operation, espionage, retrieve Optimus, something like that. So it's actually very, very nice that we get most of the essential Decepticons in the first 2 waves of the Siege line. Very, very cool. So I have a closer look at Soundwave. Lots of details abound in this figure, and you get to see a lot of the G1 inspiration, like the fast forward and the rewind buttons. And you know, if you can Google what a cassette player is, and you'd see these buttons, and they would forward the tapes and all that. And this is probably the best feature. That chest, spring-loaded chest cavity opens up to eject his minions, though they don't really eject. So he also comes with his signature trademark shoulder cannon. And if you remember, Soundwave had 2 of these. They were supposed to be the batteries for the cassette player, and then they would form, one of them would be the gun and one of them would be the shoulder cannon. So this one would be for the gun. So lots of G1 influence on this toy, and this is probably the closest thing we're ever going to get to a G1 Soundwave in the mainstream toys, in the mainline toys, and not the Masterpiece lines, because the Masterpiece lines are really G1, but this is probably the closest thing we have. So he's got this big backpack, which is going to be part of his alt mode. That's fine. Wish they could have folded nicely, found a way to fold it, but it's fine. He also comes with another rifle. This one is like a bazooka or a double-barreled gun. Put right here, or if you don't want this one here, you can actually put this one here and be like a bazooka. So he's got a ball jointed neck, that's fine. Waist swivel, cool. Ball hinge shoulders, very nice. Bicep swivel. It's got double jointed elbows, which is very cool. I wish though they'd given it more articulation, like a forearm swivel or a wrist swivel. Just a hinge wrist, because of transformation, that will allow a better positioning for the trigger finger, or for the finger pressing on his eject button. But as it is, it's fine. So ball hinge hips, You can actually move the hips forward and backward and allow this flap to move up and down to give him some room. Thigh swivel, hinge knees, go this way and that way. And of course, it's a siege figure. He's gonna get that rocker pivot, which is not necessarily part of transformation. They just added that in, so that's very nice. I'm really loving this figure. Paint wise, I dig that they've given him a lot of these psychedelic colors like gold, hot pink, metallic hot pink, some metallic mustard and all that, this bronze type of gold paint on him. They've also given him a lot of these battle damage PNAPs, which is, well, it's a hit or miss for me. Some of them work, some of them don't. For the feet, they actually do work for me. They're fine. But for the forearms, they don't. It feels like there are charcoal stains or blast stains or something like that. It doesn't really work for me. For this one, it actually looks nice as a battle damage. It's perfect the way they've done it. It looks like his chest has been scratched so many times, been in battle. But to me, I actually am partial to a more cleaner looking chest plate or Soundwave. For Soundwave, I preferred they kept this clear and just put all the battle damages on his limbs. But as it is, if you're a big fan of battle damage, that's perfect on him. On the back, very clean. That's about it for paint apps. He's got some light piping, very nice light piping. Let's see if I can show you guys. Yep, there you go. Very cool. Okay, so the instructions say that the other than the bazooka configuration I mentioned, the other thing you could do with the weapons is really you can bind all three of them into a very long, I forgot what name it was like a sonic sound blasting device or whatever, but you can combine all three of them. Oh, did not know that that thing compressed. Okay, so you can combine that way and it becomes like a long, very long sniper rifle. And clearly it looks like he's overcompensating for something, or better yet, I think it looks better like this. Oh yeah, definitely. It's ridiculous, I know. And here is Soundwave with the other Voyager class, leader class, Voyager sized Decepticons, Megatron, Starscream, and Shockwave. And I'm so happy that the first two waves of these Siege figures, we have all of the main Decepticons we need. We just, of course, we need these other Seekers, Thundercracker and Skywarp, which will just be repaints of Starscream. But at least we got the mold, got Shockwave, we got Megatron, and this, I'm happy. I'm actually happy with just these four. And we get the two other Seekers, we get the Coneheads, we get Rumble and Frenzy, then the G1 team will more or less be complete. And here is Optimus Prime. So he's a little bit shorter. I thought they'd be the same size, but Optimus is a little bit bigger, and that's a great, fantastic scale for these two figures. So let's transform Soundwave. Now the box says, and the instructions, this is the official alt mode, but we'll get to the unofficial modes later on. So transform him into that. What I'll do is, let's start with the arms, fold them this way, rotate this way, and do this. Okay, I'm doing the best way I know how to transform him, not following the instructions. Okay, do this, untab the backpack, fold the panel all the way down like this, fold that head, collapse like that. Okay, these are gonna go like this, just, you know, so it's easier. These, okay, and then these are going to just go here like that. Pop these out. Oh, sorry, just they're gonna stay like that. Okay, and then what you want to do, pop the arms out like this and like that. Shoulders, I mean, okay, and then this one. At first I was like wondering what this, sorry, don't do that first, but I was wondering what this thing is for. Like it's the only one that on one side and the other one doesn't. I guess at first it didn't serve as a purpose. I thought it was just aesthetics, and it was an additional step. And then I realized they wanted to balance out this port right here and to actually cover up that peg hole, which is actually nice of Hasbro to do. So do that. And then this one here. These backpack pieces are supposed to tab in right there. There's a notch right there for those tabs, but they don't really stay in. They're very loose, so that's, you know, just have to work with that. Okay, let's do the legs. Legs actually I thought were pretty nice. They compress nicely. Do this. The transformation was very satisfying, especially for the legs and then the entire figure. Despite being such a roundabout way of transforming things, there is some satisfaction at the end of it all. So, yeah. Okay, fold this one like this. Okay, just to stabilize those leg pieces like that. You can already see the cockpit right there. Okay, and then this, detach, fold like this. And those slots right there, they're gonna tab in here. Okay, like that. Okay. And then these arms or shoulders are gonna tab in right here. Those slots right there for those peg holes right there. They're gonna tab in together. That. They'll form the bottom part of the ship. And that essentially is Soundwave transformed into another sort of blockish type of Colonial Viper. And the weapons, of course, you can just mount them right here. Right here. Oh, do be careful when you're removing this one, because if you move it too sharply, there you go. So you gotta twist it and then remove it. Okay, so like that, and then this one is the only one with a tab right there. There's no tab right there, so you just take it like that. And could he be any more asymmetric? Looking okay. I mean, he's Cybertronian, but yeah, kind of boring for me. All right, and now for the unofficial transformation. Now, if you watch the first few episodes of Transformers in the Generation 1 Transformers cartoons back in the 1980s, you will remember that Soundwave did in fact transform into, on Cybertron, he did transform into something like this, which was, I don't know if it was a relay post, lamp post, or communications post, but as Jazz was passing through the bridge, Soundwave was spying on Autobot activity, and he transformed into something like this, transformed to robot mode, and transformed back into that lamp post, whatnot. So I was like wondering, is there a way to do so? And I sort of tried to figure it out, but if you look closely at the bottom of the packaging, this flap right here has that bit of information. So this is the unofficial, or I guess it's now official, lamppost mode. So we'll get to that right now. What you want to do is you want to fold it like this. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Fold the head, just as though you were transforming Soundwave into alt mode, but without the other steps. And what I did notice is there was actually provisions to transform him into the lamppost, and you can see there is a peg right there, and they're really for these slots right there. And what you want to do, you want to fold on the second hinge elbow joint like that, not on the first joint. So you do that, not on this joint, but on this joint. Okay, and then you just tab it right there. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I thought that was pretty nice. Well, maybe we should just do this one as well so it looks cooler. Okay, and yep. And the instructions don't mention anything. It's just that bit of information at the bottom of the box, and it doesn't transform the legs. It just tells you to do that, and that's essentially the official quote-unquote lamppost mode. Okay, but I wanted to take it a step further, I want to transform the legs. So let's do the transformation as you would when he's into his alt mode, his official alt mode, the spaceship mode. Do that. And because if you do this, the panels are a little bit at an angle. They're going to stand up like that perfectly, but you want him standing at an angle like that, and he's just going to tip over. So rotate that waist piece, and then you can actually do that, and actually makes more sense to do it this way, I think. So the legs are transformed, and yeah, he looks way cooler, I think, this way as a lamppost or as that communication outpost. So very cool. And if you want to make it closer to how he looked like in the cartoon, you can spread out the arms at an angle and fold him this way, and you could pass for that communications outpost or lamppost. And finally, the unofficial mode of the cassette tape recorder or tape player or boombox. There is a way to do it, but it's not like a perfect transformation without really removing the arms. You can actually just slide off the arms that way, but I'm not going to do it. I don't want to risk ruining the figure. But you can do it and just fold up the legs to the side like he transformed in G1. So we're going to give it a shot. I think it is possible. So fold it like that. Hold this like this. Okay. I think just put the arms this way, and then fold the feet out of the way, and just simply folding the feet like that. And there you go. That's the best thing I can do. I think this is, I've tried any other configurations, and this is probably the only way to do it. And pop in the cassette, and it should be fine. But yeah, because the shoulders are really in the way, and there's really no way to do it. They don't fold out of the way or anything like that. It's just, yeah, without removing the entire arm, this is the only way I know. But it's not bad. I mean, it works. Like that was how he looked like. I mean, it was a rectangular cassette player, so I guess it's fine. So final thoughts on the figure. I think it's a great figure. It's probably one of the best Soundwave figures we've gotten in a long time. And without really going into the Masterpiece line, this is one way of getting a G1-esque, G1 homage Soundwave in the mainstream or mainline toys of the Generations Transformers. And I think it's great. It's going to get obviously a 10 out of 10 for me. I wish they could have put a little bit more swivel joints on the arms. But other than that, with the sort of semi-official mode of the lamppost and the unofficial cassette recorder mode and really nice looking robot mode, I am very, very pleased with this figure. I think Hasbro, Takara Tomy did a wonderful, wonderful job with this. And with 2 waves in of the War for Cybertron Trilogy Siege Transformers, I am already so pleased and happy with the characters we've got, and I cannot wait to get more. So there you go, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this little video review. This has been the Transformers Generations War for Cybertron Trilogy Siege Voyager class Soundwave. Thanks for watching.